you were going in there as a as an animal, did you see it where the
I did.
prison was?
I did not see where the prison was. I think I saw like what led to the deeper side of it, and I can only assume that's where the delegation was, because there was a whole part of the entire monastery. There was like a something like a temple underneath it. There was a lot further that I didn't go into because I think it was like kind of sealed or something.
Okay, so I'm actually pretty competent when it comes to stealth. I can pick locks. And my thought is, well, aside from the fact, so let me put it this way: I'm going back in. I don't know if I'm going to have company, but I'm going back in. And
I'm going back in too then. You're not going alone. What? So
okay,
Lucas could turn us invisible if you don't have this spell.
I do have it. I can cast it on myself, and
So
since you've
Lucas.
already gone through with robes, and you've gone through as an animal, you got robes. Okay,
Yes.
so we can absolutely don the robes and the mask because invisibility is going to get us pretty far. But there are two possible problems with that. Number one, the elephant in the room is the blind monk. So I don't know if we can fool her.
Well, hopefully we don't interact with her. She would have no real reason to just talk to a random monk walking around, right? If we didn't give her a reason to. Whenever we come near her, obviously we want to rethink anything we're doing.
Yes. The other thing is I don't know where those gargoyles came from, and I don't know how good they are at identifying outsiders.
I think they identified it when we started fighting. If we don't fight, because they didn't sense me, so it's not like they're like they have a radius around them that they can sense. So I think that they see an intruder or hear it.
Okay.
If if we see it, gargoyles, just try to evade them. Don't bring any attention to ourselves. I think is the plan. I mean, I
So
think that's a
my
good idea.
thought is we go in invisible and we wear the masks and robes. So if we come into contact with her and we are unable to get past her, let's just say everything goes to shit. Um, we at least have that, the look. Maybe we can, maybe her echolocation sees what everyone else sees. And worst case scenario, um, you can tank with hit points. I can literally tank with mechanics. Like,
We can kill her easily.
yes,
The problem isn't
yes.
her. The problem is her 50, an army of 50 monks.
So, if we
But
go
yeah, I
at
think if
night,
we sneak, we should be able to do it.
right, and if we go at night, when I'm talking like 3 a.m., right, everyone should be in bed. I mean, they're monks. They follow a lawful process. They go. They're usually up early in the morning, 5, 6 a.m. So if we get there around 3,
You cut out or you stop holding the.
Yeah, you cut out.
Still,
You're still not.
still can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Uh, yes, kind of.
Hold on, let me pull off my
Yeah,
push to
you.
talk.
I can hear you now.
Okay, so my thought is we go around 3 a.m. and
Sounds. Uh-huh.
everyone should be asleep, and those that aren't, um, it should be sparse, and um, they should be even those that are asleep, even if the alarm goes off. The real problem we were having with a couple of them was that their armor class was so damn good, right?
Well, it was only a few of them. There's not that many of the armored ones.
Okay, but it's enough that when you're trying to swing and you're missing, right? So they're going to take forever getting armor on, which they won't. They'll come out no armor, which means the other ones are the ones we really got to worry about.
The monks are monks are fast and they don't need armor. They will wake up and immediately go to us.
Right.
Which,
But hopefully we're not going to get into it.
speaking of, I just thought of something. I think if I can somehow manage to find Pytherio's body, if she's dead, I think I can, with the bag of holding, stuff her in it, get out, because when I transform into an animal, whatever I carry transforms with me. If I have the bag of holding, stuff her in it, transform, leave, we should have her body and be able to resurrect her.
Okay. So I have locate object as a spell, level 2. If we get to, let's say, the monastery, we go on the roof, there is an open section. We go up there, I'll cast it. It has a range of 1,000 feet.
Ooh.
Would I be able to find her, though? Or what are you looking for?
It's not going to find her, but it can find her clothing. Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they don't try to take that off.
Hopefully not. But if they do, I mean, that's just another obstacle we'll have to go through. But we'll be dressed. We still have the invisibility option. You can cast Pass Without Trace. If the shit really hits the fan, you can conjure animals, and you're beefy. And when I really want to be, I can be very difficult to hit.
Yes, but we should fighting should be the final resort. Like, we should not even
absolutely
plan that.
But we have to get those people out.
Yes.
Okay, so
are you sure that we shouldn't go and try to see if we can get help from the knights who are looking for these people, though?
My concern is she wants to take the body to her master.
Which means that she'll do it soon, very soon.
Yeah, because she was really excited about it. I figure we need... Hey, Ryan, what time did we arrive?
If I remember correctly, you guys arrived... You guys rested through the night after you killed the trolls and made your way up into the Somber Hills towards the monastery in the early morning. You sent Leo in, and he scouted for about an hour, and then you waited for some time, I think, as well, to just kind of watch if any monks were coming and going. You were probably in there for maybe another hour, and so now that you've left and made your way back down to the river, to the Desrin River, it's probably like late afternoon at this point.
Okay, so we could long rest here in my hut, and we could go back 3 a.m., and we can make this happen.
Yes. Seems good. So
that's the plan.
Are we just trying to get the people out? Because that might take a lot to get all the monsters out without fighting.
I'm not sure. Okay, so everyone's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth, right? No plan survives contact. So we plan, we approach it with intent, and then we improvise, adapt, and overcome. I personally think that at some point we're gonna have to fight.
Of course.
But you have the ability to conjure animals that can muck things up. If
we're run away, the animals should be able to hold them off. If we want to make an escape, if we want to hold down the line, they'll get mowed down very quickly.
How much air is in that bag of holding?
It's enough. Well, I don't know how much I would know of this, because I know out of game it's 10 minutes per person, and then it's divided by half by how many people are in it. But I don't think Leo would know that.
Well, how many people could we stuff in there?
Oh, as many people as... It's a lot if it's a lot of people, but, we only tried it on corpses so far.
Right.
And
but
I
we
was in
could-
there for very briefly, and I was able to breathe, but I don't know how long I'd be able to do that.
But we could periodically open the bag, allow air in, and keep them breathing.
I'm not sure, because I think they have to get out of the bag to be able to breathe. I don't think the air just goes in.
I'll hop in the bag. Ryan, how much air do I have?
I have never had to. um, I'm sure we can find out real quick. So let's see.
Yeah, it actually gives you an amount.
Breathing creatures inside the bag can survive up to a number of minutes equal to 10 divided by the number of creatures. So if one person could breathe for 10 minutes in there, two people for 5.
Now that's assuming we close the bag up. Is it possible to leave the bag, the container open so the air can go in?
I think like I don't know that it necessarily works that way. I think it's like when something gets popped in there, it's like it gets like sucked in, and then like the space is what it is in there, and it doesn't create kind of like an open. I don't know if it's really like an open flow so
Okay,
much.
that makes sense. So here's another thought. We go in, we infiltrate, we get everybody in the bag, and then you fly us out as a bird.
I can't fly.
Okay.
Not quite yet.
That is problematic.
But I can summon things that fly.
Okay.
I think that is gonna be a good extra strategy. I can summon 2 giant eagles, and they should be able to carry the people in the bag for at least a moment, and the 3 of us get like a safe enough distance away in a minute, and then we take them out.
Okay. Um, how many ranged weapons did I see them producing?
Um,
Okay.
it didn't seem like any of them were using ranged weapons. That doesn't mean that they don't have them.
Yeah.
No. It
Well, yeah,
does.
we only really saw monks.
They're not really walking around with them.
You didn't see
Right.
anybody with like bows or crossbows or anything.
Even
So
the
my-
sentries
my-
outside.
My assumption is they probably have them, but they'd have to go get them.
Let me
If
Yeah, from what I know of monks, they usually prefer to be close, so maybe they're not very good
yeah,
at
I
that.
mean, if they saw 2 eagles fly out, they wouldn't necessarily have crossbows handy. They'd
yeah.
have to
So
get
as far as the monks themselves, you did not see any of them carrying bows or crossbows. I think you have seen a couple of the stone armored having like heavy crossbows before. But as far as you could tell within the temple itself, none of the monks that you had came across seem to have had ranged weapons on them.
Yeah. So if we do get everyone in the bag, then we got the eagles to fly us to a safe enough point. After which, I don't think we're gonna be able to outrun them if they try to chase after us.
No, but once we leave the monastery, we're in the woods. That changes things.
Are there woods right near the monastery?
Near the monastery, it's like rocky hills. There's not really much forest up in there. It's like craggy rock peaks and valleys.
Still, it's obstructed view, right?
Yeah, sure. It's not
Um,
like I mean, the canyon itself is kind of in this big rock amphitheater, and you had to go through kind of like this very narrow sandstone tunnel pretty much to get in there even. So like outside of the temple itself, you're in this big, wide, high-walled rock amphitheater, and it seemed like there was one way in and out of there.
How many people are in the delegation? Do we know?
Um, I believe that the the delegation itself was fairly large, but the delegates, the important delegates, I think there was a total of 3 or maybe 4.
Okay, so assuming I still have a conjured animal after the eagles, I can summon 8 horses, and that should be able to just get us all the way back to Red Larch if that's our goal or somewhere else.
Okay. Assuming we don't need
Assuming,
those conjured animals in the fight.
yes,
Sure.
I am not. I'll try my best to not need. I'll rely on you guys for the combat.
Okay.
The animals go down quickly against large numbers anyway.
Sure. Sure. All right. Yeah. So Ryan, we are in the force tent
Okay.
with the intent.
Do we want to be dragging to focus in with us when he's not here?
Well, so what I usually do is, if somebody's missing, like their character is there, right? And I'm sure that if was here, he'd be down for the plan. He would go with you guys. I'm not gonna necessarily like role play his opinions or his character, but if he is needed in combat, I will operate Savocus to the best of
Okay,
my
so
ability. Yeah.
Focus is coming with us, so that's someone that can turn invisible. Jinx can turn invisible. I can go in as an animal. Would you want me to go in as an animal now? Just see if I can find the
Pass without
delegates.
trace. So if we have pass without trace up, also,
They will
once,
never. They will never be able to trace us. Yes.
yeah.
And that might be able to eliminate what the blind monk can hear, assuming that's how she is able to get around. Because I'm pretty sure we don't make sounds with pass without a trace. I should project it. But yeah, I could start scouting it out now while you guys rest to make sure that we have a direct path to where the delegates are if they are here.
Are you going to be able to get your full? Well, yeah, you would be because we're gonna have plenty of time, more than 8 hours. Okay. And I'll send my bat. So in the general vicinity. So if you encounter problems,
Yeah, if you see a whole bunch of movement, you can assume.
I'll hear
That's
about it.
correct.
Okay, so you guys are gonna kind of camp at the riverside in your tent until like nightfall or later in the evening, darkness.
We're going to return so that time of our return should be pre sunup, like 3:30 in the morning.
I think we can go in a bit earlier, that way I can have time to scout everything. Because if we're going into the rest of the afternoon, like we'll wake up like at noon.
You
Right?
guys would have
midnight.
you guys would have a time if it's late evening right now. You guys could rest for 6 to 8 hours, and it would be kind of then around 3-4 a.m. around that time.
Yep.
Okay, so I apologize for. Okay, well, first of all, at the request of Pam, I am recording this session, so you guys are being recorded right now. I just want you to let you know that, so she can watch the session later. She was very adamant about it, so I'm just doing that for her.
Cool.
Secondly, I'll just be real quick because I know you guys are very familiar with what happened and you've already kind of made plans, but last week you guys did make your way out of Red Larch into the Somber Hills, up into the Desrin Hills, and you discovered the Sacred Stone Monastery, where you attempted to convince the monks that appeared to be dwelling there that you were prospects, possibly wanting to join join up with the monastery itself. You were led into the center of the monastery, to somebody who was apparently in charge there, and he began to kind of question or grill you about your motivations and why you thought you would be good recruits for the Sacred Stone monks themselves. That didn't go so well. Well, it went okay until he asked you all to relinquish your equipment and as part of beginning your internment into joining the Sacred Stone Monks and beginning your period of self-reflection and some other thing that I can't remember what the guy said, but you guys weren't down with that, and so they decided to not allow you to leave, and they attempted to attack you. More monks joined into the fight, and eventually the senior monk of the temple, with some more monks, made their way to the central chamber in the Sacred Stone Monastery itself, where she was challenged for control of the temple by Petherial in one-on-one combat. Which Petherial, even though she did fight honorably and bravely, quickly fell to uh, the brutal attacks of Helen Ray, the apparent leader of the monastery itself. And she announced that she was going to use this victory and offer Petherial to her master, a man that you've heard his name a few times before, Marlos Ernrail. They allowed you to leave, but they did not allow you to leave with Petherial. As far as you know, you're not aware currently of her fate, and now you are camped here down at the base of the Desserin Hills, along the Desserin River. You've popped a tent up, Jinx, and the three of you are here discussing your next course of action, and you're hoping against all hope that Betherial is perhaps just been taken below. You believe below the monastery there is further, and there's been some evidence that that it goes further down, that there are chambers, perhaps tunnels, caves, maybe some sort of prison below the monastery itself that you're hoping that Petherial has been taken to. And so as you're here planning along the river, and I apologize so much for this map. I tried to find a good high resolution map that would represent a good river scene, but they were all pretty small and not really what I was looking for. So as you guys were talking, I just had to draw one.
Nice.
The bank is kind of a little rocky and pebbly, and around there's some grass and a few trees kind of dot the landscape. And as the evening goes on, eventually at some point during the late hours of the night, kind of maybe around midnight after it gets dark, you can hear some sound on the river, and you poke your head out of the tent, and you can actually see a long keelboat coming down the river from north to south, kind of drifting in the center of the Desserin River. You can see that it's got one big sail on the front, and it seems like there is maybe a 10-foot long kind of shelter, I guess, some sort of kind of um, quarters, 10-foot long, 10-foot wide in the middle of the boat, and you can see it has like windows. You can even see that the windows have like little curtains covering them, and you can see the warm glow of a flickering, maybe candlelight, flickering on the inside of this chamber on the deck of the boat itself. You follow the boats coming down the river towards you. Why don't you guys make some perception checks for me?
Quick question for you. Has our long rest completed yet?
I would say you're about halfway through.
Okay.
Yeah. Leo, you're looking at this boat, and kind of past the boat on the far bank of the river, you can see another light. What appears to be a campfire. Let's see how far away that is. 300 feet. And you can see a single solitary figure kind of sitting close to the fire. You can't quite make out what they look like, but you can see a fire on the far bank of the river, kind of almost directly opposite of you. And it does appear like there's somebody sitting there. As the boat begins to get closer and closer south. Oh, you know what? Another thing you notice with that perception check on the front of the boat, uh, uh, there's like this long pole that kind of comes off the bow, and then just below that, you can see a symbol painted on the front of the boat. Um, that kind of reminds you of like the symbol of Black Earth. Um, that the that you've come across a few times, um, and it's kind of like a triangle, just like the Earth cults is, but instead of a line in the center, the triangle kind of crosses at the top tip, and two lines continue outwards. So it almost looks like an upside down ironing board, kind of. I can actually just even draw it here on the map.
Is this presumably another one that we saw in the eye thing?
Yeah, you would. It does look like it was on the that you saw there in that cave. Looks kind of like that. Um, as you're sitting here watching this boat go by, there doesn't seem to be anyone on deck really. The boat's just kind of drifting down the center of the river. Um, and you can see maybe a couple figures occasionally moving past to and fro from the window. And then somebody does eventually step out, and they're kind of looking towards your tent on the bank. Um, and as the boat's coming closer and closer downriver towards you, suddenly from the far side of the river, there is kind of an eruption of flame, and a fireball strikes the side of the ship, just setting it ablaze. There's a big explosion, and half of the ship is just blown away. The sails now kind of blazing, and the person that was standing on the deck of the ship gets blasted into the river. And the boat begins to quickly start sinking.
Wow.
We might want that guy on our side.
Did we see where the fireball came from?
Across the bank.
Yeah, after basically, yeah, right from where that small campfire is on the far side of the river. I guess make one more. You guys can make one more perception check for me. There's this brief moment, Jinx, where just before the person on the far bank of the river launches their fireball, you see her illuminated in the light of the magical flame that she's conjured in front of her, and you can see a red-skinned woman with two horns coming off the front of her head. You can see she's wearing a kind of flowing red robe that's kind of blowing in one direction as the breeze along the river is kind of making her her gown flap in the wind, and you see her face illuminated there in the light of her fireball momentarily before she throws it, and you recognize it. It is the woman that stayed briefly at your camp when you were making your way to Red Larch, Vanifer.
Huh. 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 Interesting.
Um, and when the ship explodes and sinks, I think you see uh, the person who had jumped off the ship. You can just briefly see them um, swimming off in the water, but they're swimming back north in the direction the boat was coming from, and they're swimming very fast, almost like they have a very easy time in water. Um, and then you look back over to the campfire, and you can just barely see the woman with a big grin on her face, and the wind still kind of blowing her red gown as the fire's kind of wafting up, little sparks in front of her, and you see her like turn and her head towards your tent on the far side of the river, where you guys are kind of standing at the bank watching this ship burn and sink, and she just raises one hand and kind of waves at you too.
Well, I waved back. That was cool.
She kind of, you can hear her voice ring back across the river. Pesky river thieves! I recognize the symbol. They've been causing trouble up and down the Desrin River for weeks now. Serves them right.
Oh, well, you sure did them in. We recognize that symbol as well. We were about to do the same thing. You beat us to it. Say, would you mind helping us catch some more thieves?
I wonder if she has. Yeah, Jinx, I think you can tell that she casts a spell. And you see,
Okay.
you see kind of a blue glow begin to illuminate around her feet. And then she begins to just kind of walk over the surface of the Desrin River towards the two of you, very casually. And she makes it to the other side and steps off onto the bank, and the blue glow around her feet kind of fades away, and she grins, and you can see now that it is clearly Vanifer. It looks like her black eyes healed, and she looks a little better than when you last saw her. Well, she looks a lot better when you last saw her, and she's still kind of half grinning. And she says, I'd be happy to hear you out at least.
Well met, Vanifer. So good to see you in better condition than last week.
Indeed, I apologize for my shifty depart, but you know, you never know who it is that you can trust these days, and
I just look at both of them and like, huh, small world, huh? Yeah.
I've been searching the hills for the men that assaulted me, actually, since you and I last encountered each other, and I haven't had much luck. But I have made some new enemies. No new friends, though.
You have
As I
now.
recall, the symbol she got assaulted by Earth cultists, did they not?
She
she
did,
not?
yes.
You know, it's funny that you should mention that. We found them.
She raises an eyebrow at you, and she says, well, some of the things that I've learned on my travels since we last met have pointed me in this direction, but...
Well, they pointed you the right way. We encountered them. It didn't go so well, but we were planning on going again.
Ethereal fell.
She says, you tell her that Betheriel fell.
Yes.
She kind of frowns and she says, well, that's unfortunate. I can only imagine what they're doing to her by the way that they treated me. And you know, there's a man in those hills that I owe a good punch in the face to, so I'd be happy to assist you in retrieving your friend.
Well,
much appreciated.
Yes, we will need to be a bit more discreet than I point towards the burning ship than that. Save it on the way out.
Well, I suppose you should learn this about me now before we go any farther. Discretion is not really my forte.
We can work with that.
Yes, but there is a time and place.
Hey, amendment to the plan. So we go in, we get our peeps, we send a message out to her,
How?
and she gets their attention.
How do we send a message?
My bat.
Doesn't your bed have to be a certain amount of distance?
Mm-mm. It's only for me to see through my bat is within 100 feet. But I can have my familiar do things for me on my.
Okay. Well,
Vanifer says,
uh,
you know, I am not really a native of the Sword Coast. I come from far to the south. And I've been along these rivers here in this part of the world for a fair amount of time now, and the time I've spent in this valley, I've realized that there are some strange things going on here. And there are a number of people who have been, in my eyes, doing nothing but ill will to the fine folks that live in these valleys.
yes, apparently there's at least a few cults acting in the area.
Ryan, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Just because I've been doing this for an awful long time, I would like to use my last portent from this day
Mhm.
to just. It's a natural 16. Add to it a 2 to make it an 18. Is she on the up and up, or is she playing us?
She seems to be perfectly willing to help you destroy some Earth cultists.
That's all we need.
Okay.
So yes. How about that? Would you be willing to serve to draw attention to yourself? So hopefully we can go in and out.
She says, you know, she kind of makes the symbol of the Earth cultist with her fingers. She said, I didn't really receive the warmest welcome by those fellows, and I spent a good portion of my life under the foot of those who wished to oppress me. I'd be more than happy to just make sure that every single last one of the bastards that not only hurt me, but hurt your friend, go down in a blaze of flame.
Is she actually making that symbol?
Yeah. She's making the Earth cultist symbol with her fingers. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
the Earth cultist symbol.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, sounds like we got a deal. We have to go in and make sure that we get some prisoners we think they have out safely. And if they're preoccupied with, say, some fire, that make our job a bit easier.
She points to the boat that's now only got like its ass end sticking up out of the water, and she says, if it's a distraction you're looking for, I am perfectly capable of making one for you.
Yeah. So
feel free to kill a few of them on the way.
The plan is we're going to go in. We're going to get them. I will send Chauncey, which I have Chauncey fly up on my shoulder. I will send Chauncey back, and when you see him circle around your head, blow the doors off the front door.
She nods and she says, I'd be more than happy to. I like your style.
And we'll join in once we've gotten them free. But you should be able to hit them hard from a distance in the dark and create chaos. That'll give us enough time to join.
She kind of jokingly laughs and she says, Chaos is my middle name.
Well, sounds like a plan, but right now we need to rest and hopefully wait for a better time, namely when it gets more dark.
She says, I don't mean to impose, but would you mind if I rested in your tent with you until you're ready to go?
By all
Feel
means.
free.
I'm curious, Vanifer, where did you study magic?
Well, and she looks over at Savocus and she says, I didn't so much as study it as it was naturally born within me. Um, Although I have learned over time to perhaps control it a bit better than I could when I was a girl, um, it's not so much a study that has brought me my power, but practice and honing of the innate magic that lies within. The Weave and I have a strong relationship.
I envy those with a natural affinity to magic.
My friend here, I point to her, Savakas would like you very much, but maybe another time you guys can talk more
Yeah,
freely.
I'm suppose I mean I'm sure Savokas would be interested in once he heard that, and they would probably have a conversation. And Vanifer would definitely spend a lot of time talking to Savokas and answering any of his curiosities to the best of her ability. But unfortunately, he's not here, so we'll just pretend like that happened.
Okay, so
I think
just to make sure.
I think she might. No, I'll leave it for now. Yeah.
Okay. I think so. The plan is we sneak in with invisibility. We find them, hopefully without fighting, and then on the way out is when we want to make a distraction.
Yes. You're also going to cast Pass Without Trace, right?
Of course.
I believe you can get her in it as well. There's no range on it once you leave the.
Yeah, but I think it'd be much easier for us to get away with the eagles if they were preoccupied finding something on the entrance.
No,
That way,
I'm
all the
down
monks
with
are
that.
gone.
I'm down with that, but what I mean is if we have two effects, because as soon as I cast a spell, if we make an attack, anything like that, invisibility goes down. Having Pass Without a Trace as a second layer of stealth
Oh
is
yeah,
very
obviously. Oh yeah, I'm casting Pass Without a Trace. I thought you meant bringing her with us.
Oh no. Perhaps, but no. We cast it once we get within sight of the monastery. We split up and we go. But you can also get her because how many people can you affect with that?
I can affect anyone around me for 30 feet, but again, I don't think it'd be ideal for her to be within 30 feet.
Just when we split up, because
Oh, no.
we're gonna leave here.
How?
We're gonna go to within sight of the monastery, cast the spells, and go in under cover of dark. She'll just be there waiting for an hour. You know what I mean? Like if she's
In
there when you
fact,
cast.
wait. What if I can carry you guys in there as a spider? Because I can transform for 2 hours, right? I can find where we need to go, and then we get you out. So by the time you guys cast invisibility, at least it'll last long enough if we need to do it. Search for it outside.
I'm I honestly would like to save your wild shapes for combat if necessary, and the invisibility and pass without trace both last for an hour. So we get we get to within eyesight of the monastery. Boom, we cast the spells, and we're on the clock for an hour. It should be more than enough time to get in and get out.
Indeed. Well, let's get going then. Assuming the time passed.
Okay. So, Ryan, I send Chauncey over. First of all, let me do my portents for the day and change my spells.
Sure. What can you guys see on this map right now? Can you see like inside the temple and everything?
I
like
can
this
see
area.
through the doors here, like right here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, barely.
Actually, dude, if you click on my token and hit Control L, you should be able to see what I can see.
Yeah, I need to learn some of these. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I definitely need to learn some of these. It's been too long.
I'm glad you.
Okay, I see. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure because I'd been messing with the lighting. So, you guys do manage to you get your long rest. Go ahead and do your portents, and you begin to make your way up into the hills again with Vanifer in tow. Um,
Oh, on the way, I'm gonna take out the drift globe and hand it to her. It's like if you want to if you want to draw a lot of attention to yourself, you can use this to cast a very bright light, a very, very bright light.
sure. You see her. She's got a small pouch on her side. Much looks much like your bag of holding, and she thanks you, and she kind of opens it and slides it, kind of tucked inside of her robes that are all wrapped around her elaborately, and she kind of pulls her robe to one side, and you can see there's a dagger tucked in her waist there, and she pulls the string on her pouch, and she opens it, and she slips the globe inside.
Okay. I've got my portents. I've got my spells swapped out. I use one of the mage armors from my ring.
Okay. Ooh, natural one.
Are we ready?
Somebody's gonna fail something.
Yep.
Well, as you guys make your way back up into the hills, and kind of around into the area where you had camped for a little while to kind of scout the temple before, you do notice now, guarding out in front of the temple are a couple of large bull-like looking creatures standing up on two legs. They're both holding two big, gnarled looking, sharp axes, and they've got big long horns protruding out of the front of their heads.
Nice. That'll give Vanifer a good target. So the portion of the monastery with the busted wall, have Chauncey fly over it.
Uh, yeah, let me see if I think that's kind of this portion of it's not like it's like worn out. It's not like it's totally collapsed in and stuff, and everything's like exposed. But this side of the temple over here does seem, pretty worn down, and it hasn't been kept up with like much of the rest of the monastery has.
Is it small enough for us to fit, like to climb over a wall to get inside, or is it completely?
I think you could probably like tear enough shingles away and probably break some of the roof to get down in there. I think that's feasible. Yeah.
Quietly?
I think I might
Quietly.
be able to. I
Quietly's
mean,
a
it might
different
be
story.
easier to fit me in there again. Just pop into the back, go in, then pop you guys out immediately.
Let me get Chauncey to where Chauncey can see. Let me see through Chauncey. Let me go to, because if there's someone on the inside, then it's for naught. We're gonna have to deal with them. Let me send Chauncey to a point where he can see in. If there's a big enough space, I should be able to see in the room.
Sure. Yeah, Chauncey kind of lands and finds a space, and the Chauncey's echolocation and kind of does ping back to you that there is someone in the room below. Leo, I think you would know that this in this part of the temple where Chauncey's scouting. When you had scouted in as a spider, this is where you had seen that old, withered, decrepit-looking man that was kind of fumbling, not fumbling, but like doing some sort of alchemical work in there.
I say that and I say I don't think we should come this way. Whatever is in there, it looks like not even the rest of the people in the temple wanted to deal
I
with
can
it.
actually like fully describe what Chauncey sees. Let me. I'm just kind of going off the temple from memory at this point, but let me pull up the actual description of the room, and I'll read to you what Chauncey actually sees fully. There we go. So this older part of the monastery looks like it's been fitted out as a laboratory of sorts. Chauncey sees like work tables covered in alchemical apparatuses and shelves full of strange, curious, and dusty clay jars. The windows have been bricked up, and cobwebs hang in thick. Uh, um, cobwebs hang fairly thickly in the ceilings and corners of the room. Chauncey sees like an ancient looking figure that is kind of peruses a heavy tome that's out on the desk, making notes on sheets of parchment that are like covered in arcane writings and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, let's look around. Let's find another spot where we can maybe sneak in. Some place that has a room that is unoccupied, or if it's occupied, they're asleep. Should I make an investigation roll?
Yeah, you can make an investigation roll. Much of the temple's rooms, well, there are tall windows, kind of circumventing the entirety of the Sacred Stone Monastery.
How's 12?
Are you investigating as Jinx or with Chauncey?
Initially with Chauncey, if I don't find anything as Jinx, I'm gonna look around and start listening at doors and
Okay.
windows.
I would say if you just start scouting around the periphery of the monastery itself, near the back gardens, you peer over the wall, and it's quiet in the gardens. You see all the stone statues that are frozen there, and you can see two doors that lead into the monastery from the garden. Uh, you make your way further around the backside of the temple, and you come across two windows that are dark, and you can kind of you can hear the gruff, low sounds of what sound like to be. Uh, you hear people speaking in Dwarven, essentially, in low tones. Um, you go around further to the back west side, and there's a small set of stairs that leads up to a solitary door. This portion of the temple also has windows, and you can uh, peek in and see four monks. You can even smell smells like they're baking bread, preparing food, and working in a large kitchen. Farther around to the fully west side of the temple, you find a couple more windows. One with an empty room full of what look like water basins, and one that seems like a mess hall of sorts. There are four long, wide tables, and both of those rooms are fully unoccupied. You come across a few other rooms that seem to have perhaps some sleeping monks in them.
But we did find a common room that is empty.
Two, yes. Although they did have very, they had small narrow windows that not necessarily could fit through. The only windows I think you could probably fit through are the ones at the very back of the temple that lead into the main temple chamber where you heard the dwarven. or the doors on the backside of the temple through the garden, or the ones that lead into the kitchen.
I would do the back doors then. Let me listen to see if there's anyone on the other side.
Yeah, you want to make a stealth check for me?
So this is with the +10, is it not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
So are you going for the doors by the kitchen or the doors in the garden?
The garden.
Okay.
By now we put on the robes as well and the mask.
Correct.
Gotcha. So you go into the gardens, and
Oh, question.
Uh-huh.
Question. I'm sorry. Is Savokus with us?
Yeah, Savokus is with you. But are you like alone right now, or are you and Leo scouting together?
So my thought is, if we leave Savokus with Venifer, he can cast invisibility on Leo, and Leo can cast Pass Without Trace. So on those points where we're concerned about noise, Pass Without Trace is going to really help us with stealth.
Sure.
But we're also invisible, both of us.
Okay.
Sound good to you?
Yeah.
Leo?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, so we're there.
You pass into the gardens through a metal gate. I'll actually move your guys' tokens up there. You pass into the gardens through the metal gate that leads into them. You see there are many stone statues in here, some of which look like they are different kinds of humans that are frozen in poses of fright and terror. A couple of the statues look like they are kind of more, well, not more, but they do look like statues of gargoyles, much like the ones that you had fought, but they are still and unmoving as you pass them invisible. You make your way up to the door that leads up to the side of the temple from the garden, and you can hear those voices speaking in Dwarven.
So we've got a very good idea of where we're going, correct?
Yes. You believe that door leads directly into the main central large chamber of the temple where Petherial fell.
And there are no windows that connect to it, right?
There are windows in the back of the temple.
I investigate for any kind of alarm or anything that could go on.
Sure. You take a look at the door, and as far as you can tell from here, it doesn't look like there's any sort of alarm, magical or otherwise, and otherwise you're not sure if the door is locked or not. I guess.
Okay. I'll investigate it for a lie. Is it locked?
I think that the dwarves are gonna be right behind it. They'll see an open door. They'll immediately be suspicious.
It also does.
Regardless of what invisible.
It also does appear to be locked.
And I hear the dwarves on the other side.
And it's not like this door has a handle or anything, or an actual locking mechanism. It just looks like it would push open one way or another, and you kind of lightly push against it, and it doesn't budge. Almost like it's barred from the other side.
Okay, so we need to go around.
Yep, let's... is this an entrance?
There is a door there, but it is like... You can tell that it's been, like, sealed off completely. Like, it's been cemented almost through the cracks of it.
What about this window? How tall is it?
That window's maybe 4 feet off the ground, and you peer inside, and it looks like it's actually an empty room, and you can smell like the brewing of alcohol wafting out from inside. And you can kind of see some big stills and stuff in there, and you can smell the heavy scent of brandy.
Would I be able to fit through the window?
I think you might be able to squeeze through it. I don't know if Jinx would be able to.
But it's a window and a door.
Just a window. And this is a door here, and this is a door here, but it looks like they've been kind of sealed with mortar or something.
And this one over here appears to be going
That's
further away
the
from.
that's the gate that led you into the garden itself.
Oh, so we haven't checked this one yet.
This is the one that you were checking. That is, you can hear the dwarves at.
I think I guess reach out to where Ethereal would be. I don't know. And like as soon as I get a hold of him, say maybe jump in the bag, and I'll try to fit us through the window. Then you just jump out again.
And I guess through this window here, there's a big room. You can see like a sparse table inside, and you can see somebody sleeping on a bed, but you can only see their feet, their bare feet.
Leo, I think because we're coming, I mean, the monastery is a hell of a lot more active than I would have expected at this time of day. And because we're running into
we
barriers.
did just try to invade it like not even a day ago.
No, that's true, but we're also running into barriers. I think your plan. Let's I'll go ahead and hop in into the bag, and I'll let you take lead from here. If you
Well,
run into,
it's only for the window. Obviously, there's no need for you to be in it the whole time.
are you already small enough, or are you going to have to wild shape?
Well, yeah, I'm a halfling.
Oh,
I think you can.
Okay.
I think you can squeeze through the window. Leo'd be small enough to be able to slide through it.
That's fine. Okay. I forgot you're a halfling. I'll go into the bag. Take me out.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Because I'm thinking it might. My problem is I don't want to put you in a position where you're all alone. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't want you to have to do it by wild shape.
And I'll just kind of describe some of these rooms as you go through, since you guys kind of got led through the temple, and I really sped through Leo, like exploring it in the spider. So in this room there are piles of firewood that are very neatly stacked against one wall. There's 4 large copper kettles that stand in iron frames above iron fireboxes. Copper tubing and long coils kind of lead from one kettle to the next, and there are several large wooden casks that stand at the south end of the room, and shelves on the eastern wall hold scores of brown sealed bottles with red wax.
I try to listen through the door.
You hear no sound.
I try to push it open.
Yeah, it opens. No problem. It opens into a hallway that moves off into 3 different directions: south, east, and north.
I guess we actually move out.
Which direction do we know?
Well, first I close the door behind us.
Sure.
The main temple I know was like it'd be west of us, right? Where we had our fight.
Yeah, I think you would be able to tell.
And none of these doors are open.
No, none of them are open.
Oh, shit. I think the temple is more to the west. I think first we try going that way.
Okay.
I assume I'll try to listen through this door.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you hear no sound.
No sound. I'll try to open it just a small amount to get a peek inside.
Yeah, you see a set of stone stairs that descends 10 feet to a landing and turn.
I look back towards Jinx. Do we want to head this way? Or towards the temple?
I don't believe they'd leave her body where she died.
Well, no,
I'm
but
not sure she died.
Stairs going down.
Yeah, you can step in if you want. You look through that door and you see some 10 feet of stone stairs that go down to a landing, and they turn. They continue to descend beyond your sight. On the landing, there are several large buckets that are stacked unevenly on the landing itself, and then there's another set of stairs that keeps going down into darkness.
Let's continue.
Do you want to? Oh wait, continue another way.
Well, do you think this is the best direction to go?
I don't think we'll be able to go through the where we fought. Even though there were stairs that way, we heard dwarves, right? And
Sure.
from what I remember, I think that was like the general area. I think they have that place guarded. So maybe we try to get down through another entrance.
So you want to go down the stairs and see what you find?
Maybe we should check all these doors first, right?
Sure. One at a time.
I'll listen through here.
You hear no sound, and you try the door, and it appears to be locked.
Okay, no lock.
If you want me to unlock something, let me know.
Can you unlock something inside of me?
Yeah.
Then please, might as well.
Uh, 11's not a good roll. Do I need to keep rolling?
Yeah. Let me just make a perception check for the fail.
Do I get a plus 10 to that to the target number because I'm passed without trace?
I don't think that would disguise the sound of you attempting to unlock the door.
Okay.
So let me see. It'll just if it's higher than your check, then you'll be heard, I guess.
I would have kept an ear out to make sure nobody was approaching.
Sure.
Well,
you guys are still invisible or whatever. So what do you do? What you hear actually is you kind of hear the sound of, after a few moments, when you can't quite get the lock, Jinx, after a few moments, Leo, you can kind of hear the sound of barefoot on stone walking across the room towards the door.
I try to tap Jinx back out, and then I move away from the door, over here.
Okay. Jinx, you don't have dark vision. Leo, you do, right?
No.
Neither of you do. Okay.
Okay. Correct.
You hear a key turn in the lock of that door, and it swings, or I guess it pulls inwards, and you see a head lean out, and it looks down in your direction, and you see the face of Helen Ray, her two white eyes, looking in your direction. Now there's something
okay.
There's something I have to check because I can't find it in the compendium, so I just gotta look something up real quick.
So that was awesome. So can I do something as soon as I recognize her as this initiative? Because actually we're still in the mask and the robes.
Yeah.
Well, she can't see that. Presumably.
She's probably echolocating us, which means she sees two people and might see the masks and the robes. Although, if she's using all of her senses, she'd probably remember us by scent.
Well, hopefully we're not that close and don't leave that much of a scent.
So, I would say that what she definitely knows is all the monks that reside in her temple. She looks down towards you, and she sees you and Leo standing there. um, with her she has blind sight, and she can see, and she can sense invisible. She can sense you even if you're invisible. She steps out into the hall, and kind of turns to face the two of you, and just in a low voice, she says, "Back so soon, I see. Unfortunate.
I would like to reply. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was hoping that you'd stay away. Your friend fought bravely, and you did the honorable thing in leaving at my request. I thought you smarter and that you would save your own lives."
Well,
Well,
we couldn't
actually,
just not try.
she was my student. Now it's my turn.
Oh, what lesson will you be teaching today?
Funny you should ask. Does she recognize me casting a spell?
I think
Like, if I initiate
she,
the casting of a spell, do we roll initiative, and does she see about trying to beat me to the punch, or do I get the spell off?
what are the components? Verbal,
Verbal
somatic.
somatic material, probably.
I mean, honestly, probably just verbal and some would be enough for her.
Verbal would be enough.
It's enough.
Well, she's like, you'd get the spell off, but then we'd be in initiative.
I can deal with that.
Maybe I should go with my spell first.
No.
I was gonna hold her.
Trust me on this.
Because we can't give her a chance to announce her presence.
We won't.
I think like it would be like Jinx's spell. She reacts because she's like ready. Like it's not like she's total surprise. So I think it'd be like Jinx's spell, initiative, and then whatever happens.
Sure. Okay. So I say, you will surrender to our wishes, and you will release the prisoners. And if anyone of your monks or servants asks why, we will tell them to shut up. You get a saving throw for that. Would you like to guess which one I'm giving you?
No, that's all right. She says,
So yeah, are you no longer invisible?
That's correct. Although I am passed without trace.
Yes, but... And we have the mask anyway, and if you follow her, no one will doubt it anymore.
Yeah.
We don't need invisibility if we have her.
She says, the ones that I have are poor workers and are of no use to me anyways anymore. Follow me. You can take
Wait.
them.
Let's just follow her.
I really wanted to loot her shit.
We will.
We might... out. That way we can just kill her alone.
Yeah, we have 2 spellcasters on the outside to help us with this. Let's get the prisoners. That's the trick.
She walks. She actually walks through this door right here. And
I stay invisible this whole time, as much as I can.
Sure. And Jinx, you're still you're dressed as a monk. You've got a robe and a mask and everything, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So she goes through this door here, and she leads you down below the monastery. I'm gonna just drag your tokens here. So.
Okay.
I don't know why they're not moving. There we go. She leads you through a door, and that kind of opens into a room where there are a couple of like there's a big kind of ogre-looking fella in there. It's like sitting up on the floor up against a wall, like heavily snoring. There's a big pile of drool coming off of his chin. And there's a couple of orc-looking guys that are like lazily sitting around in some chairs that all kind of get startled when someone comes through that door. And they see it's Helen Ray. She just says, "Mind your business. Just passing through." One of them says, "Yes, Helen Ray, of course." And he like bows his head a little bit towards her, and she heads through this door in the south of their room. And she
What the hell was that? That's not a regular ogre.
takes a hard turn and leads you to three cages, three pens at the end of this tunnel. These three cell-like rooms have been excavated from rock, and there are iron bars that wall off each of them, with a chain and padlock securing a swinging gate. Inside, there are a number of prisoners huddled on miserable straw-looking pallets, and you, in the darkness, can kind of make out. They all kind of like cower back a little bit as they see Helen Ray, and you can make out maybe a total of around 17 people. They seem to be now kind of dressed in loincloths and rags, and look like they've been put to some hard work down here in the mines below the Sacred Stone Monastery. Helen Ray grabs, pulls the rope of keys around her neck off of her head, and turns one of them in the first gate, goes to the other one, and opens all three. And she stands off to one side, and she says, "Get these filth out of here. I'm done with them."
Yes, but
So, first of all, do I see Ethereal's body?
You do not.
she finally taken to the underground temple.
What did you do to our friend?
She has been presented to my master.
And what has your master done?
It is not for me to question my master's actions.
Well, of course not. I'm just asking what he did.
He will try to break her. If that doesn't work, he more than likely will turn her to stone.
That sounds reasonable. Where is your master?
Are these the delegates? We should probably handle that first.
Agreed, but where's your master?
In the temple of Black Earth below our feet.
Shit.
Are these the delegates? Or are they somewhere else?
Hold on a second. I'll start calling out. Shit. Well, first of all, do I see? I'll call out Rundorth. Rundorth, are you here?
A dwarf standing on the back wall of the northern room steps forward, and he says, "He was here, but he's been taken below as well."
Yeah, bless it.
Well, seems like we're on a highway to the Temple of Black Earth.
I'm my name is Broldenthar, and I was with the delegation.
How about Teresio?
Rundorth and Terrasil were both taken below.
Desena as well?
Desena was taken by bandits who attacked us after we were attacked by the Earth Cultists.
So you were attacked by the Earth Cultists twice?
No, these were knights riding feathered birds.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, obviously you ended up here anyway.
Well, the knights attacked the Earth Cultists, and they managed to get away with Desena.
Oh. Okay. Well, I guess we'll come back for them, Jinx. Or we want to
Yeah.
lead them out now before moving on.
I think if we're gonna get Pitheriel out of here, we gotta get down below.
Oh yeah, but we don't have to leave these people. If Helen Ray lets them go, then I
Agreed.
don't think anyone would question it.
So, question for you: do you think we could get these people? Oh, so what you want to do is have her lead them upstairs and out the door.
Yeah, why not? No one would question it.
That's what you had asked for her to do, right?
That is correct. Yeah. Be advised, you are still my prisoner. You will wait for us in your room after you have sent these prisoners outside. Do you understand?
Make the course of action sound reasonable. She says, yes, master, I understand.
Very well.
Also, would you mind? No, that has a bit much. We don't need the keys yet.
So I should probably now let me ask you something. If my spell breaks, would I just know that because I'm no longer concentrating on it?
Well, so the spell kind of says you suggest a course of activity limited to a sentence or two and magically influence a creature you can see within range that can hear and understand you. Must be worded in such a manner as to make the course of action sound reasonable. So, like asking the creature to harm itself will break the spell.
Mhm.
The suggested course of action can continue for the entire duration. If the suggested activity can be completed in a shorter time, the spell ends when the subject finishes what it was asked to do. So, like, the thing you asked her to do was take you down here and let the prisoners go. I think once this is done, the spell's over.
Okay, because I also told her she was to be our prisoner. So, do I believe that that condition has been met?
See, I don't think she would find the course of action of becoming your prisoner be reasonable.
Would it be reasonable for a knight to give their war horse to the first beggar they meet?
Mm, more reasonable than giving yourself up as a prisoner, but I guess it's not making her harm herself. So I missed that first part on the prisoner. So I guess
I mean, I totally understand.
being being my prisoner is not like a course of action, right? So like
Okay,
the spell,
that's
when you get her to do something, once it's over, I think the spell ends in the way that it's worded. And I guess it could be argued in
okay.
one way or another, but like become my prisoner and
No,
do this other
I
thing for
pushed
me
it.
are two separate actions, I guess.
No, I
Yeah.
totally get it. Pushed it
Yeah.
to as much as I can. I'm trying to make this happen so I don't actually because just the two of us down here, it's pretty daunting odds. So she is no longer under my compulsion, correct?
I think she will be under your compulsion until the prisoners are let out of the temple.
Oh, well, what a coincidence. We should go to the
Because
underground temple now.
because you had said basically you'll take us, bring us to the prisoners, allow us to leave with them.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't say how many prisoners, so we should go down and get the rest, yes?
Correct. There are more prisoners down there. We need them all.
Yes, could you send these to your room first?
Can are the rest of the can we get to the rest of the prisoners from here, Helen?
Um,
What direction are they?
Just lead us there, right? Because she's still compelled. Might as well.
Yeah, we still need to get the rest of the prisoners.
Let me think about what's down there. She says, of course, you may collect the rest of them. Let me show you the way.
I'll look at the delegates and I'll say, grab whatever you can as a weapon, hide behind you or whatever. You might have to fight your way out. Let's go.
I'll say at least try to wait for us. Don't do anything crazy if you don't have to. This invisible voice says that.
Yeah, we follow her.
Okay. I will warp you forward again. She leads you through a series of passages to a metal door. I think it's got like metal bars. Let's see. Here we go. 22. Yeah, there we go. So she brings you to a big gate made of iron bars that blocks the way down. You can see behind them there's a wide set of finely made stairs out of stone. Again, she takes the key from around one of the keys from around her neck and unlocks the gate. You can see the door to your right has like several big dents in it that push outwards in your direction, and you can kind of hear like scraping on the other side of it against the door as you three emerge or come to the iron bars.
What the hell's behind that door, Helen?
She says, an Umber Hulk.
Great. That's great.
She says she takes the padlock off of the gate and the iron bars swing open, and you can kind of feel a slight breeze wafting up from this ancient-looking set of stairs.
Oh yeah, while we walk, I wanted to ask her about the kind of weird person I saw.
So I don't think that this spell like makes it so she has to tell you a bunch of truth.
She doesn't have to say it. She's just friendly, right? Because she's like maybe charmed.
No, she's not friendly. She's compelled, and I'm asking her, but I figure.
Yeah, she's probably she's probably like gritting her teeth and like.
I mean, she may not care what information she gives us.
Well, I think the last time you guys used the spell was on Joffrey to get him to town, right? To get him to the constable without fucking around, and that NPC is quite a bit different than this NPC.
No, I totally get it. This is not charm person, which would make her my friend.
Yeah.
This is suggestion. So I know I'm pushing it.
So she knows that there are technically, possibly still more prisoners down below, and she's just leading you there.
Good.
Yeah.
If she feels chatty, who knows? She might naturally be chatty. She may want to brag or to try to intimidate us. I don't know.
I think she's just kind of, you can see the tension in her cheeks, as she's kind of moving along, and you can see like she's kind of like scrunching her fists in and out, and you can see like the the lithe muscles on her forearms just kind of convulsing in and out as she's taking you through the cavern. And she leads you to this set of stairs that begins to go down below, deeper into the earth, into darkness.
Okay.
They descend. They continue to descend. This is a new map, so...
What the hell did Betherial get herself into, man?
Well, we were gonna have to come here for the delegates anyway.
Yeah, I know. Holy crap.
I don't think we're supposed to be anywhere near this area for a long time.
Yeah, well, if we're smart and lucky, we can get in and get out.
Yeah, if the terms of the suggestion aren't met until we're like, I don't know, a few hundred feet away.
Um, okay, so yeah, the stairs continue to descend um, down and down and down about these ancient stairs. Um, they go around down and around about 250 feet in flights of 20 to 30 feet as they kind of wind down and down. The walls and stairs are noticeably smooth and they look like they're in fairly good condition. And then it kind of opens up into a large chasm. Um, you see Helen Ray look up towards the ceiling into the darkness, and she makes the symbol of the Earth cultists uh, above her head. Um, and then you see kind of this big subterranean chasm that spans by a zigzagging 10-foot wide stone bridge with no railings. The bridge kinks and seems to link um, two tunnels together, and the big chasm below just disappears into darkness. Uh, and she kind of gestures forward towards the chasm and she says, "The prisoners are just across the way."
Let's go.
And so you guys can move your tokens if you'd like. You're up there. I don't know if you see my pings.
Um, hold on a minute. I send Chauncey forward.
Okay, sure. He flies forward, and up ahead of you, Chauncey sees a massive pair of stone doors that lie broken. To the south of the chasm, there's a small plaza flanked by iron torches that brightly illuminate the area. Um, one door kind of lists unevenly on its bottom hinge, and the other lies just shattered on the ground. Um, and standing kind of just before the doors, there is a wide iron portcullis that blocks the way between, uh, um, blocks the way forward essentially past the first two sets of iron torches. Um, you can tell that the torches seem to be magically lit with maybe an eternal flame spell. Um, and it seems that there are arrow slits that are carved into the west and east walls on either side of the first big foyer or room that opens up just before the portico, just before you would meet the portcullis. So I don't know. Just to see, I guess you could kind of move up to here just to see.
Would it have been possible to ask her for the keys?
Yes, but I don't think she would give them to you.
Well, how can we release them without the keys?
That is a
No,
problem.
she has to release them. She has to release them herself and bring them out. Correct?
Uh, she says, I would be happy to make my way into the temple and retrieve your prisoners. Um, I cannot promise your safety beyond this point.
So I've sent Chauncey forward. I believe I can see into this room and see
Sure.
this.
Yeah, Chauncey flaps forward. Um, Chauncey can see some hobgoblins milling about on the other side of the portcullis, as well as a dark-skinned man wearing some stone armor, and sleeping behind him is a large bestial-looking creature that looks a little like this. It's got a thick stone-looking hide and a massive maw, giant claws. It's kind of resting on the floor, and the man kind of raises his head when the bat flaps through the room and looks up towards the chasm, and he squints his eyes and he says, "Helen Ray, what are you doing down here again?"
I believe her response is "Shut up."
She says, yeah, I guess she says, "I've come to retrieve some prisoners for my own business." He says, "The fuck you have? You don't have any jurisdiction down here. I'm in charge. And if you push me, I've been waiting for my chance to get my hands on you."
I lean over and say, "Are you going to take that from him?"
Does this guy look blind?
She's
Does
compulsive.
this guy look blind?
I think that her fighting this guy would lead to her inevitable death, and she knows that.
Does she know that? She knows that.
Yeah, she knows this guy's tougher than her. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go. Does he look blind like her?
No.
Okay, I'll start walking over there.
Okay. Hey, before you do that, do you want me to send Helen Ray back to get the other delegates out? Everybody else out?
I think she should wait. We need as much time as possible, right? Just wait a bit further back.
So between you and me, my intent is to send her up and to send Chauncey ahead of her, so that, or above her, so that when the door opens, Chauncey goes forward and does the circle thing around our friends. She's going to eat a fireball.
Well, you guys are hundreds of feet down below the temple now.
No, I know that, but I don't have to actually be in Chauncey. I can give him instructions like that. He's already got the instructions that if the shit hits the fan, he goes back.
He can fly that far and do something for you?
Oh yeah, he can do something. I just can't see through his eye past 100 feet.
Okay.
Let me pull up the spell just to make sure. But
Sure.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
It's like you're no longer invisible. I don't think you should. If isn't suggestion concentration?
It is. So I'm not going to be invisible, though you still have me pass without traced. Right?
Yes, but they are looking right at us. You're not. I don't think you'd be able to walk past them.
No, you're right. What are you intending to do? Are we about to fight? Because if we're about to fight, we don't want that.
No. I think I'm still invisible. I can go in, try to get the prisoners into the bag and get out, or get back to you at least.
I don't know if that Bule has tremor sense, bro.
Well, I wouldn't know, and I think it's worth it.
Fair enough. Okay.
We do not want to start a fight in the literal center of their entire stronghold.
Keep her down here or send her up.
I think she should wait with her to make sure that she's still following your orders, right? Because if you send her up, then that's when the spell ends.
I mean...
No, I get that, but she's not right here able to help them whoop our ass if shit goes south. Now, if you want to go forward invisible and try to sneak them in, I mean, that's okay, but you know where I'm going with this, because we're right on the edge. So I will follow your lead. What do you want to do?
I think we can't fight. If we start a fight, we'll die before we even probably get to Ethereal. Think me going invisible, if I die, too bad. If that thing has tremor sense, hopefully it's sleeping. I don't know. But yeah, I think we need to
Because
get
they
through it.
took notice of Chauncey.
Did they take notice of Chauncey?
Yeah, he looked
Well,
up.
yeah, I
And then he
mean,
went Helen Red.
it's totally, this whole place is illuminated by magical light. Like,
Yeah, they saw the bat,
yeah,
which I imagine isn't very
the
common.
ceiling's about 15 feet high. So I mean, yeah, they saw Chauncey fly through, but it's probably not that unusual for a bat to fly in through. There's a big cavern behind there. Like,
So you and I are in agreement. Fighting down here is bad. Okay. However, fighting down here with her also is absolute stinking suicide.
Yes,
It's
but if we have her, once we start, if we manage to go back up, if we have her, we'll get out without any problems whatsoever. I think we should still keep her around, maybe just not in right in the immediate vicinity.
so
Just
Helen Ray's kind of sphere of influence, and she had mentioned this in the last session, is the temple upstairs, and she's been trying to get accepted in the eyes of Marlos, and part of what she thinks would help her with that, and be allowed to just ascend the ranks of the cults and move down into the temple and get more important things to do. You know, she thought maybe Petherial would help her in those means, those ends, bringing an adventurer who tried to infiltrate into to her boss, and showing showing some initiative. I don't know, showing some sort of dedication. But like, it still kind of seems like that's where her sphere of influence ends down here. Maybe there's some bigger boys that are above her, you know. And this guy seems
sure,
to be
no, I
one of
get
those. Yeah.
so Leo, this is all I'm saying. I don't know if we can take that guy. I know we don't want to, but I do not like our chances if she's here because she has blindsight.
I
And
think our chances don't matter at all once we fight. Yeah, obviously she has blind sight. If you want to
I
send her,
disagree. I disagree. But you want to keep her here.
it's up to you. Honestly, I don't think it much matters anymore.
Well,
She can't help us anymore through here, I think.
there was a couple things I'm surprised about. Although I mean, this did work out well, and you guys got yourselves pretty deep without having to like break a sweat. Um, but I think you guys were expecting Petherial to be found a little quicker, and I'm surprised that you like recruited Helen Ray and then just made her wait outside.
Well, what can we do? She
Or
doesn't.
no,
She will die if she does.
I meant Vanifer. You recruited Vanifer and then made her wait outside. I think that's
She wasn't very discreet. She made that very
yeah,
obvious.
that's
Yeah,
very true. Yeah, that's very true.
the frontal assault approach is not our best option. Um,
um,
so
but I think like you're at the moment where if you push Helen Ray any farther, like the spell's gonna end one way or another because she knows she can't do
that's
much
fine.
Yeah.
beyond this.
Helen, I'll lean over. Helen, go get the prisoners from upstairs and take them outside. Leo, we have a time. We have a clock, so let's get it. You can get them. You can get me.
Yeah. I'll try. I say you should probably walk back. Try to look like you're with her, because it'll look suspicious if you're just standing here. And I try to start sneaking through while still being invisible.
Okay. So Ryan, I will walk back a bit to the point where I'm definitely outside of their dark vision,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll look through my bat's eyes.
So
Weren't
you're
you sending Chauncey to talk to the thing?
I would, but I want to know what happens to you because if you need help, I'm going to
If I
jump
need
in.
help, you run. You run. Okay, we cannot lose the
I
entire.
probably will.
Can't leave.
I
Don't
probably
leave
will.
Savokas alone.
Go ahead. Yeah. Um,
Should I roll like the stealth check? Because I'm trying to
I
walk
don't leave anyone behind. That's
you
it.
can
I
make a
don't do
stealth
it.
check, but you're still invisible, so you know.
and pass without a trace. Yeah.
um. Okay, so before you start exploring, let's take like a quick 5 minute break.
Okay. We're getting those prisoners out. Okay. It's the last thing we do.
Sure.
Force.
Just maybe.
The likelihood seems very. I'm pretty sure that thing has some kind of
I mean,
sense.
I don't. That was a very good try with the command. Um, but just because of what I know, and really going over that spell, I've never had somebody try and really manipulate the game the way you have tried to, Spence. So, did he walk away?
It looked like it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so we'll take a 5.
Yeah. We probably should have tried charm person as well. Feels bad.
So you're going to attempt to slip through the portcullis and search for more prisoners in Petherial?
Yes, and search for Petherial as well.
Okay. You step through the bars, barely squeezing through, and are in this large room full of bugbears, and this stone-armored man that has this large creature as a pet, it seems. Um, there is a door to your east. Um, a stone door that looks like it kind of pushes. You can kind of tell that the door can push one way or another, and then it's set on a centralized kind of rotating um, round kind of pillar almost in the middle. So the door could kind of be pushed open, leaving a 3-foot gap on either side. Um,
Uh-huh.
to the
Well, I don't want to go.
to the west and the south, there are long open passageways.
I try heading towards the west passage because I don't want to open a door in front of
Okay,
these people.
sure. Yeah, you make your way towards the west passage. You creep by a hobgoblin standing near the long hall, and you find yourself lined on either side with stone walls, smooth stone walls, and then eventually you come to the south of you a door, and you can kind of see ahead of you in the distance what looks like a big stone statue in an empty chamber.
I try to crack this door open just to get a peek inside.
Okay. Um, yeah, you push on the heavy stone door, and it kind of turns, revealing a small crack. And you see somebody sitting on a bed cot, like turn its head towards the direction of the opening door. You kind of briefly see a large suite that's consisted of several small rooms. It looks like linked by low archways. Brown curtains offer some small amount of privacy for the different rooms, and kind of right near the door on uh, one of these bed cots is a person just kind of sitting there resting, and they turn their head towards the door as it creaks open a tad.
They don't look like a prisoner or like a delegate, I assume.
No, they look to be dressed more like not necessarily monks, but earth cultists.
Okay, then I slowly take back away from the door. Leave it as it is.
Okay. Yeah, they like stand up, and you can hear the door being pushed open, and they look out into the hall, kind of confused, left and right. Um, and they just go back into the room. They look like they have a sleepy look in their eye. Um, you make your way to the end of this long hall, and you see 3 hallways that meet at this room. An alcove in the middle of the west wall seems to hold a 10-foot tall statue depicting a crude humanoid form composed of earth boulders and sharp crystals. One massive rocky fist is raised above its blunt head. Shattered rubble from an older statue lies heaped on the ground around the pedestal on which the figure stands. And the statue there kind of resembles this.
Okay. Would I know? No, I probably wouldn't.
It would be a very high history check, I think.
Yeah, that I wouldn't know. I'm gonna approach this door, try to listen through.
Yeah, you can hear the low sounds through the stone door of men talking in low voices. I guess, yeah.
They're not like scared.
They don't sound scared.
Whatever.
No.
Okay.
Seems like casual conversation. There's a bit of laughter, and you can hear some maybe coins clinking around on a table.
Okay. If only she were able to give more accurate instructions. of where these things were. I'm gonna just keep going down this path.
Sure. You go down that path. You come to another wide, deep chasm, and you can kind of see a faint red glow bouncing off of the walls uh, on the west side of the chasm, seemingly maybe coming from some sort of room or definitely an opening in the stone wall there. I think you can even hear like the clank, clank, clank. You can hear the sound of maybe somebody working on a forge or something, and then you'll hear like some air rushing as big billows are being pressed, and that red glow will kind of get a little brighter, illuminating the chasm further. And then you hear the heavy sound of metal on metal hammering away as someone's working at a forge.
Uh-huh. Keep going this way then.
Another kind of four-way intersection you find yourself at, south, west, and north.
Shit. Well, I might as well keep going south.
To the west, I guess, you can make out another wide chasm, and it does appear that there is a stone bridge that leads out to a staircase beyond.
That's great. So many options. So many options. God damn it. They wouldn't do something like put them all down another set of stairs. That'd be mean. I'm gonna keep going down this tunnel. See if I can hear anything through this door.
Yeah, you can hear that loud sound of the smith work being done still.
Okay, keep moving then.
You come into a large room filled in the center. There's like a basin. Water fills this rectangular marble basin in the middle of the hall. The walls kind of display an ancient frieze that circles the room. Pictures of woodland images of deer and bear and game, along with parties of dwarven hunters. The southeast corner of the room looks like it's badly damaged, and the walls there are little more than rubble.
Oh, I'll check this door.
Yeah, you hear groaning, the loud sounds of big things moving around.
Nope. This door.
Hmm. Uh, yeah, you hear a man's voice. He says, "No, no, that one's not sharp enough. Yes, this is the right tool." um, and there's a few. You hear a little bit of whimpering, and then you hear this voice say, "Who will it be next to be questioned?"
God damn it. Okay. Is there like some loose pebbles or something? Is this water?
Yeah, that's water.
Okay. I'm gonna try to find some loose rock and try to throw it into it, trying to make like a splash.
Yeah, sure. Um, yeah, you make a splashing sound. There's definitely some loose rock from some of the southeastern wall that's crumbled away and badly damaged. So you pick up some stone and toss it in. There's a big plunking sound as you make a splash, and the voice that was talking says, "Go see what that noise is. I hate being interrupted when I'm extracting information." And cultist kind of pushes the stone door. It turns and it opens, and they look out into the room. They kind of walk over. towards where the water in the basin is still kind of rippling. And
When they open the door, I want to sneak inside.
okay, sure, yeah. You sneak past, and you see a wooden torture rack that stands in the middle of this room. Manacles hang from the walls, and fiendish hooks, blades, and clamps hang on a back wall. 4 cramped iron cages stand in the room's western alcove, occupied by gaunt, dirty humans with blank gazes. In the room's eastern alcove stands 2 double bunks and an iron stove. And you see a man kind of there with 2 different kinds of sharp tools in his hands, standing in front of the 4 cages, deciding who he's going to torture next. You see a female human with dark skin who's got an angry look on her face. It is not ethereal. You see a human male who seems to have a pale blue cloak on, although he looks dirty and beaten. He's almost catatonic and shaking in his cage. He looks like he already has several deep cuts on his flesh that are in various stages of healing. You see a female dwarf who also looks kind of beat up. She's not cut up so bad, but you can see she's got like a bloody stump for one hand, where one hand would normally be. And you see a male half-elf who is kind of holding his chin up defiantly at the torturer, and then the man kind of points his instrument at the elf, and he says, "Bring this one out."
I'm gonna use my silent speed on the elf and ask him to say his name.
So, like, it's just a telepathic communication?
It's one way, so I can send him a message, but he can't do the same in return.
You see him look confused for a minute. But he doesn't say anything.
It's like, are you with? I'll ask, are you with the delegation? I guess cough once for yes, don't for no.
He makes no sound.
Okay. Is the door still opened?
Yes, just now the cultist who went out to check what the splashing sound was is making his way back towards it.
Okay. This doesn't seem to have ethereal. That's priority number 1, so I'll get out.
Okay.
I would have helped him if he said his name. Or at least try to. How much time do I have left on invisibility?
Hey, can I say something to you, Leo?
Of course.
Just a thought. The prisoners might be hurt, but they also might be capable. We could start a revolt from the inside out.
I could, but those were not capable.
Okay.
They were half dead. I haven't even found where the real prisoners are here. Those look like just playthings, honestly. Yeah. How much time would there be left on invisibility by now?
Maybe a half hour.
Okay. That should probably be enough. Okay. I'm gonna start heading the opposite way since...
North?
Oh. Well, I still have to check this since I'm already here.
Hey, Ryan, I give it 5 minutes, not even 5, like 2 or 3. And then I give instructions to Chauncey that once he sees the prisoners released and the door open, to do the circling around the heads of the sorceress.
Okay.
I figure he can probably fly out faster
Sure.
than she can get up there and get the other people.
I move over here. See a door. Listen through it.
Yeah, I closed my tab. There we go. You don't hear anything.
I try to peek through.
Sure. You see a room that has crumbling masonry, huge uncured pelts, and heaps of picked over bones and refuse that fill the room. It looks like it used to be a kitchen or bakery of some sort. Huge ancient brick ovens stand in the middle of the chamber, although now most are crumbling heaps of red rubble. And you see a big two-headed figure snoring in the center of the room.
Okay. Does it look like that room leads anywhere else?
It does look like it has a set of double doors, but they have like a bar over them.
Like they're keeping something out on the other side.
Yes.
Okay. That wouldn't make sense for prisoners, I think. Yeah, I don't want to try waking that thing. Anyway, I'm gonna move back. North. Did I try this room? Oh yeah, I did. All the way up. Up here. I don't think I checked this one, did I?
You did from the other side. You can still hear the sounds of men seemingly making
Oh, so it's
gambling
at least the
moves.
same room. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Keep moving. Check this one.
Yes. You can hear the sound of like stone being cracked, like people are like breaking rocks or something, and you hear a woman's voice say, that's enough. Now just move this a little to one side. Um, I'll show Marlos that you can attain a higher consciousness through prayer eventually.
Okay, doesn't look like they're torturing or have anyone there. Gonna go north.
Yeah, you come to a room with four massive square columns that support the ceiling of an ancient hall. Passages lead out to the northwest and southeast. Southeast is where you just came from. In the middle of the hall stands a 10-foot statue of a stern dwarf warrior with spiked balls instead of hands.
Does that look like some kind of gargoyle thing? Like, do I think that might be alive?
It looks to be made of pure stone.
Fair enough. I'm gonna keep moving. Not gonna get close to it. Oh, is this a dead end?
It is not a dead end, but it does look like it just is a long black passage that goes on and on and on.
Nope, can't afford to go too far. Shit. I might have to go downstairs. Check these doors.
Yeah, there's a double set of stone doors here.
Do I hear anything through them?
No, I think it's quiet.
I'll try to peek through.
You see a big cavern that has formations of flowstone, stalagmites and stalactites everywhere. A stone building is anchored in the north wall, and a stone door is where you are currently standing at the south. A natural gap in the cavern wall to the east reveals a chasm beyond, and there are numerous lifelike statues that have been arranged among the rock formations. The statues depict creatures in poses suggesting shock, fear, or agony. Make a perception check for me.
Perception. 23.
You're looking around the room, and near the west side, between two pointy rocks that are coming up from out of the ground, you see the form of which you recognize instantly, frozen in stone, as Petherial. She has a look on her face as if she was perhaps screaming, and one of her fists is raised in the air as if she were punching.
Okay. I'm gonna open the door, try to get inside. Which one do I see as Prytheria?
This one over here.
I'll try to.
We'll call it this one.
Okay. I'll approach that one from over here. I'll try to move her. How heavy is she?
Being made of pure stone now, probably a couple 100 pounds.
How much can the bag carry?
500, I think.
Would I think that that's enough?
Yeah, but you'll need a... It'd be difficult for you, I think, to get it into the bag of holding on your own.
Yeah, I can't lift that much. But maybe a bear can. I'll put the bag on the floor and then transform into a brown bear.
Okay.
And then try to lift it in, or at least try to angle it to slide into the bag somehow.
Sure. As you turn into a brown bear, and you are trying to manipulate Ethereal into the bag of holding, you feel a set of claws sink into your back. You take 9 physical damage and 17 psychic damage. And you hear, as you look over your shoulder in bear form, you see this floating, demonic-looking figure. You hear it call out loudly in a raspy voice, "Master, there's an intruder here." And this is what you see behind you, sinking its claws into your back.
A shadow demon. Great. That is just great.
What do you do?
Well,
I guess roll initiative.
Oh, I should have clicked the token. My bad. I should still be invisible because last time transforming didn't take me out of it.
So the thing made an attack against you even with disadvantage, a 17 and a 22.
Yeah.
But as soon as you started moving the statue around, it kind of swiped into the area it thought you might be. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, but as long as I'm still invisible, there's a chance of me getting up.
Yeah, you just have to... You remain invisible until you take aggressive action, right?
Yeah. Cast a spell or attack or
Yeah.
make a saving.
So out of the door. Oh well, I guess I'll roll. I'll roll initiative as well for this creature.
How much did I take again?
17 psychic, and 9 physical. Oh, I guess both are psychic, so
Oh,
26 psychic damage.
26.
The demon. I'll put you on the turn order. The demon rolled an initiative of 1, so.
That's great. That's great.
So it's your turn, but as a few moments after that, the door in the north side of the room opens up, and kind of stepping through is an interesting looking figure, I guess, creature. Uh, where did my thing go? There we go.
Well, Jenks, you might be on your own from now on.
Son of a
He looks to
I
be.
can't even see what's going on.
He looks to be about 6 feet tall, powerfully built. You turn and you see coming out. He's kind of got these gleaming metal, golden kind of shin guards, and a leather jerkin that has these golden metal shoulder plates. His face is kind of gray and cracked like stone, and moving where his hair would normally be are many snake-like looking creatures. Kind of looks like this. It steps out, looks over the scene, and sees his shadow demon kind of swiping at this air in the space you're at. Before I put him into the initiative, you'll have a turn. Then the shadow demon will have another turn, and then Marlos will join the initiative order.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to get the bear in the bag first.
You're going to use your action to try and put Ethereal in the bag of holding?
Yes.
Okay. Make an strength athletics check. I think it will be for a bear. Let's see, brown bear.
Yeah.
They got a +4, so 1d20 plus 4.
He also gets it's athletics because he'd get his proficiency if he had it.
I don't think I'm proficient. Am I proficient in athletics? I don't know why I would be. I'm not, unfortunately. So, hey.
Like a boss.
Yeah. You lift the statue like kind of over the bag and let it go, and it just kind of gets sucked in. The figure of Ethereal.
Okay. With my shit, there's literally no way out of this one, is there?
You have.
I have 40 movement as a bear.
Yeah, you have move.
Oh, he came from up there.
Yep.
Oh, that changes everything. I immediately run towards the doors. Is this movement right? Or no?
5, 10, 15, 20. No, you gotta count the squares.
Okay, so it's basically just double this. Half that, I mean.
Yep.
Okay, so I move over there. I open the doors, right?
Yeah.
Shit, any way out? Do I remember which way is the way I came?
I mean, I would.
Are you an outlander?
No, I'm a hermit.
Um,
But it wasn't that long ago.
sure. You are. I guess you are. You, this might be a situation where your character might be a little panicked. But I mean, you definitely know you just came through that door from the west. From here, you can also see that there's a tunnel over to the east and a door as well.
Oh wait, no. I think I remember I didn't take a north path somewhere. I think this is what connects to it. I think that might be it. Okay. Okay. Hopefully, or otherwise I'm trapped. That's I can reach up to this point. And it's the Shadow Demon's turn afterwards.
Make a perception check for me.
Who? Him?
Yeah, him.
Okay.
You hear a voice. Don't let whatever it was escape. Try to warn the gate guards. I'll cut him off at the pass. And you see the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You see the shadow demon kind of float out of the room, and it looks like it's going to, pass you. I don't think it has any kind of reason why it would be able to.
Yeah, I mean, I left no traces. I still have pass without a trace up.
Yeah, be able to detect you at all. So it's kind of hovering there beside you. Now I'm going to add Marlos.
Oh yeah, just right in front of me.
Jinx, you're kind of hovering. You're down below. You're down below still, right? Waiting.
I am. I haven't moved.
Okay.
I'm looking around the corner. Can you see me there?
Yeah, I can.
So yeah, I'm hidden as far as I know. Two things. Number one, my spell has not ended, and number two, we're still passed without trace. So
Unfortunately, I think it's a radius around me. I would have told you that. So
no, when you cast the spell, it is, but then we can split up, right?
I don't remember. I mean, that would make sense because it's like a buff.
Because I know that in the rules, the original range is for the targeting, unless it specifies you have to stay within 30. You don't.
I don't remember. Yeah. Shit.
Okay. Let me see.
I can get out. Okay, I'll be fine. I'm fine. Thank God I still had the invisibility. Oh God, that would have been so bad.
Okay, you're up.
Can I just transform from a bear to like a spider
Sure.
with the bonus action?
Sure.
Is it faster to go into a spider or a bat? Or
Well, it's probably better to not be a large creature right now.
No, I vibe you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn into I can't turn into like something that can fly either. Otherwise, I would. Yeah.
Shit, I keep forgetting that. I'm sorry.
It's a really good ability. I know. I wish. I'm gonna turn into a spider. I'm gonna make sure I have the bag on me as a bear before I do. That way it transforms with me. So bonus action, wild shape into a spider, and then just crawl along the wall.
Okay.
Still, I'll be moving silently to make sure that this thing doesn't hear me walk
Sure.
by it. How much do spiders have?
I bet it's a low movement speed.
Yeah, it's probably really low. They have 20 feet with climbing. So I'm just gonna be climbing this wall. Would me dashing make noise?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, then I'll dash. So probably up to there. On the wall.
The shadow flies past you down the passage towards the large entrance hall. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 60. Okay. And Leo, you're up.
So there. 80. Again, use my action to dash and then get on this wall. Keep running. Let's see. All I can do.
All right. The shadow demon continues to now. It's kind of screeching. There's an intruder here. Someone invisible.
Would think would Jinx be able to hear that?
Maybe not quite yet.
Okay.
You can make a perception check, Jinx. I would think you would. I think you would at least see them start to kind of commotion around. Out of the wall, it kind of the stone begins to shift and move and rumble, and then boom, coming through the stone at the edge of the chasm there, right in front of you, Jinx, is this snake-haired man. He's facing away from you, and he holds his hands out in front of him at the edge of where the pathway leads into the room beyond, and he raises his hands. A wall of stone rises up and covers the exit out of the Black Earth Temple, and the light that was spilling out into the chasm goes black, and you're left there alone in the dark chasm. And this snake-headed man is like breathing very slowly in and out.
Okay. Well.
And then he stops, and you see the snakes on the back of his head all whip up and turn at once to look at you, kind of peering around the corner.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you and Savocus do?
We're in for a pint, in for a pound. I'm not going to let him take all the risk. Here it goes.
Oh, I thought I was fine, man.
Can you?
You're facing
first
a
of all,
boss.
first of all, I don't know what happened to you.
I know
Second
you
of all,
don't. I know. This is
noticed.
definitely what you would. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm noticed. I'm compromised. So,
Who knows? Maybe he might draw concentration.
that's for the first level, and I empty the wand into that motherfucker.
Okay.
I'm gonna 7 more. There it is. concentration check on that wall.
42
Assuming
damage.
it's a spell.
And my wand is not instantly disintegrated.
You see the stone crack, 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 and then it all crumbles away.
Kill him, Savokas, kill him!
He whips around and looks right at you.
I close my eyes. He's got that snake hair, man. Is that too meta, or do I have an opportunity?
Let me ask you: is there any reason why you think your character would know that this thing is what it is?
Well, let me ask you: is there lore about that? Is that an Arcana check I need to make? It's fine if it's not. I'll deal with the consequences.
I'd say if you can beat a flat DC 15 intelligence check, you can avert your gaze before he looks at you.
Okay. Very fair.
What was your other portent for the day?
It's a 15.
You don't need it.
Yeah, you see him turn, and you can see, like, he's got these, well, you don't see, but his yellow slitted eyes turn to look at you, and you raise your, like, robe kind of over to cover your gaze. Why don't you go ahead and roll initiative?
Yeah.
I'll roll for Savokas as well.
Oh no, Savokas. God damn it. At least he's better than the Shadow Demon thing. Hey, Jinx, if you...
Leo, you're up.
Yay! Sprinting down the hall. On the wall. So it'd be 80.
And the demon...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the turn order will just reset. Jinx, you're up.
How bad's he looking?
Oh, right. 40... What was it? 44 or something? 510.
Yeah, something like that.
42. His back was all blackened and pelted, but he turns and he's, if you could see him, he would be grinning at you.
We're facing a male Medusa, guys. Progresses.
Yeah, well.
Oh, shoot. Well, that's okay. That's fine. It's my bad. What would you like to do?
Well, I remember where he was, and he hasn't had a chance to move yet. So I'm going to light him up.
All right.
We'll call this... we'll go with fire. And I do it with my eyes closed. And you know what? I'm going to use luck.
And then choose the 27.
I choose the 27.
Which will hit.
Counterspell. ultimate deck move. What are you making it? What element?
It's fire.
Reliable.
Oh, there he is.
And I yell out, "Ah!" Holy shit.
All right.
Good luck.
How's he looking, bro?
He's looking angry. I'd say because you're not looking at him, his attacks are going to have advantage on you.
Actually, because I have alertness, they don't.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, he attacks you once. He comes at you, and you're averting your gaze. He swings his mace into you. What's your current AC with your mage armor up?
I believe 16.
16. He hits you for 8 piercing and 6 thunder as the mace just crashes into your side. This big iron hammer. And then his hair whips
Did
out.
he hit 21?
He did not hit 21. So you can, and that lasts till the end of your next round, right?
It
He rolled,
does.
yeah, he rolled a 20. So, after he's swinging towards you, and there's a flash of energy, and a barrier is created, and his hammer just bounces off it. There's a crack of thundering sound as little kind of sparks and bolts of lightning flash out from the end of his weapon as it hits your magical barrier. And then his snake hair whips out on either side at you as well. Both just striking into the barrier. If one of those snake hits would have had advantage, it crit, and you would have taken 40.
That's great.
Leo, you're up.
Well, Leo has no idea of the probable death of his friends. He's just like, oh wow, I got Pethurio. It's all good. We can rescue her later. It's all great. So happy right now. I ended my turn.
Savocus, from behind you, kind of lets out a frightened sound as 3 bolts of scorching ray flash forward. One cuts into the stone in front of Marlos, and the second 2 connect with him. And he gets kind of 2 little holes burned through his clothing into his flesh. The shadow demon's flapping his wings, shouting, yelling, "Intruders, intruders!" And a bunch of new shit's gonna get added to the turn order. And Jinx, you're up. If you're talking, I think
Fuego does
15 hits.
okay. Um,
$21. Marlos says, "You're going to regret entering the Temple of Black Earth." And
too late.
he sinks into the stone floor below him, disappearing.
I don't think that was good. Because we have everyone else.
Run away, bitch!
Yeah,
Well, I think you guys should have the chance to run away.
He had 14. He had 14 HP left.
Yeah, at this point, well, I will on my turn run away.
Make a perception check for me, Jinx. From behind you, you can hear the pitter-patter of bare feet on stone echoing down through the spiraled dwarven stairs that you came down here from. A single set of footsteps.
Oh no.
I think
Did my spell stop working?
I think with the 25 perception, you can also hear, beyond that singular sound of pitter-patter of footsteps, yelling and screaming and explosions.
Is my spell over?
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that could find me is back.
She's not going to find you. I mean, you're just a stinking spider, dude. You're fine. But, of course, I'm going to wait for her because that's what I do. So, no, it's good.
You shouldn't wait right there. You should, I don't know, wait like a few stairs up.
Her, so.
Oh, shit. I just totally left something out as well. And these things should have joined the fight when you were fighting Marlos. Above you in the darkness, about 50 feet as well, Jinx, you hear the flapping of wings, and you look up, and you can see 3 gargoyles now descending on your position as well. Which have been here the whole time. They were there the whole time, and I just fucking forgot about them.
It took them a while to fly down.
Okay.
They were a bit rusty.
Helen Ray had made the symbol at them to pass when you guys had come down here.
Yeah. No. Hey, do I have a moment, or is like a?
Well, Savokis looks up at you and he says, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do?"
I look over the side. Can I see down there?
Yeah, it looks like it just descends into darkness. You can't see the bottom.
Okay. My spell is over, so I don't have to worry about maintaining it anymore. So now I'm gonna get really desperate.
Savokis raises his hand up towards the ceiling, as he asks, "What the fuck are we gonna do?" and blasts off a fireball at the 3 gargoyles above you guys.
No.
Before he does that, can I tell him to do something?
Sure.
Actually, I can't. Go ahead. He can empower that, right?
Yeah, which does like the max dice, right?
No, it
he rerolls once, I think.
Oh, okay,
reroll as many dice as he has charisma modifier.
Oh, okay, so.
Oh, that.
And he has to keep the new dice?
Yes, but he doesn't have to use all 5 or 4, whatever it is. He can choose. He can go, you know what? I'll reroll the 1 and the 2.
So he used the 1, and then on a 2.
1 and a 2 and a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see.
I think a 3 is not worth it.
20. So it would subtract to a 20 and raise up to a.
Well, it would increase by 5, then by 1, and then by 2.
It'd go up to 33. 33 damage.
That's more better.
Okay, 33. And there's just an explosion. Flame kind of spreads out around the cavern above your guys' heads. There's a flash of heat kind of presses down against you. And the gargoyles are just like consumed in this flame. They're all blackened and teetering now as they keep descending towards you.
Remember to roll for the chaos. Wild magic.
Oh, yeah.
This would be a perfect time. Yes!
All right, I gotta get a magic surge table up here.
Tactical nuke incoming. You know, there's so many things that just can kill both of you, can kill all of us, can not do anything. So fun. Good thing we're recording this. We have to make sure Savocus he sees this, Francis.
All right, here we go. It's a high number. You cast Polymorph on yourself. If you fail to save, you turn into a sheep for the spell's duration.
Oh my god.
So I think it's against his own DC, I guess.
Yeah, he has to make a wisdom save
Hey,
against himself.
stop before he rolls.
Uh-huh.
He rolled a 15, I believe.
Which fails. His
At
spell DC
least.
is the spell DC is 16.
Well, he still has
Okay.
wisdom, does he? He has a +2.
Yeah, he has a wisdom
A +2.
modifier.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
+2.
Oh, so
So I
15
give him
plus his
15, he
modifier,
rolled
which would be 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And he like this, the fireball blasts out like with extreme prejudice, and you see him like kind of yeah, like as he does so, he goes bah. But then he doesn't like turn into a sheep, you know. It just kind of spills
Thank
out of
God.
him with the spell. Yeah.
When you said polymorph, I'm like, oh, that could be really good.
This is
Nope.
epic!
All right, I'll reset the turn order because we're back at the top. So Jinx, you're up.
I say to him as I move closer, lean in, and I say, cast invisibility on yourself and trust me. I grab him, and we jump over the side.
Well, he'd be able to cast it on his next turn, but if that's what you do on your
Right.
action, that's fine.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
And hold on. Once we get over the side
Mhm.
and further down, from my ring.
Nice. You jump over, and the air begins to whoosh past you. Then you cast Featherfall from your ring, and your descent begins to slow. And you kind of both slowly drift down. You with their Savocus in your arms, about 100 feet below, into darkness.
Yeah.
Some of the hobgoblins around you, Leo, begin to kind of scramble. They rush up towards where the chasm is, in that direction. Some Duragar spill out from a room beside where the hobgoblins were seated, and then you're up.
Oh yeah, I'm just speeding through the door, or to the door. So, to move.
Man,
Up.
I had planned for certain things to happen, and none of it did.
That's perfectly fine. We're alive. We got the Pam statue, Ethereal statue.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Thank
boy.
God, Wild Shape is just so stupid.
That's good shit.
Don't let Savocus take damage. He's still concentrating, by the way.
The three gargoyles rush after you. I would say that you could fall at the speed of a dash, essentially.
60 feet.
Actually, you're falling slow. You're slow falling, aren't you?
60 foot around. Now, I would actually let us drop for a little bit, like 30
Oh wait,
feet.
that was your reaction. If you don't you still have an action if you wanted it on
I
your turn?
casted invisibility. So.
Oh, you went invisible.
I did.
They can see Savocus. Well, they saw you jump, and they can still see Savocus because it's not his turn yet. And so you can hear the wings of the gargoyles flapping behind you down into the darkness. Interesting. I'm gonna make a perception check for this.
I guess he could blast him with a fireball.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna make a perception check for one of these dudes. Okay, he did not see you guys jump off the ledge. And Savocus, boom, goes invisible in your arms.
Awesome.
I am no longer invisible.
You are no longer invisible? What happened?
Well, Savocus casted it again.
Yes, he did.
Oh, gotcha.
You are, though.
But I am a spider.
Without trace.
Hopefully, I am also a very discreet spider that light just mysteriously goes around.
I mean, there's chaos going on around here. I don't. It would be pretty insane if I was like, okay, all the things attacked the spy. You know, like that's pretty insane. Helen Ray makes it to the bottom of the stairs. And I guess I could have kept that to myself. And
good to know.
You do see the man in the stone armor mount that big beast in that room that you're crawling through. Well, I guess you would more hear it, because then the thing begins to start to dig into the ground. Wait, let me see.
Oh no, it has a tunneling speed.
Oh, this thing does have tremor sense. I just don't. I don't know that I can justify it knowing that you're just a spider, though. You know, there's no way. So it does.
Well, it senses a spider. It doesn't sense anything other than a spider.
Correct. Yeah. So what it does is it. Oh, it didn't notice you. I think it just does it anyways. It tunnels. The dude jumps on his thing and he tunnels down into the ground and leaves a kind of a hole there in this middle of the room. The gargoyles. No, that's not right. The shadow demon makes its way towards towards the entrance of the stairway, over towards the chasm, I guess. And the Duragar and the Hobgoblin are all scrambling around. They're looking for some kind of intruder, and it's getting kind of chaotic. Jinx, you guys are up. At the end of at the start of your turn, I guess, you guys float down to the bottom, and now you're both invisible at about 100 feet in this dark chasm down below.
Yeah, we're going to beat feet out of there, try to find our way up and out. I mean, we're invisible. We're passing without trace still, so I know he's still alive. And we're going to get lost in this network until we can find our way up. And if not, we'll sneak back and then go back up or something. But that's the plan, is to get the hell out of Dodge.
Okay, sure. As you're landing and you're listening to this chaos above, and the gargoyles are flying down towards you, do you have Ethereal Sending Stone? Who has that?
It would be in the bag, I think.
It'd be in the bag of holding?
Yeah. I think it would make sense to put all her stuff in there.
Okay.
But if something cool were to happen, Jinx could have it.
I just don't know I don't know. She threw it to, I think she threw it to you, Leo. Helen Ray did when you guys were leaving the temple. She like threw it
Oh
at
yeah,
you
there's
and you
also.
asked
I
for
think
it.
I might have given it to Jinx because he knew more about it. I wouldn't have known how to operate it or who it belonged to, so I might
Actually,
have given it to him. Yeah,
actually, that totally makes sense because I'm her buddy, and I would have
yeah,
had to. If she's dead,
Hmm.
I need to let her lover know that she's dead.
yeah. I
But
wouldn't know. I just wanted
well,
to
She
make
didn't
sure
Pethario,
that.
say that, but
sure. No, it's okay. I'm just asking, and it makes both could make sense to me that either Jinx would have it or it's in the bag. So it's up to you guys.
That Jinx would have it.
Okay.
It doesn't need. It's small, right? It's not like a big
Yeah,
thing.
it's small. It's like it's a small stone.
Yeah.
You know, Ethereal had sent a message, you know, to her, and you heard her. You all saw her do it when she was fighting Helen Ray. And so I think it even makes more sense that you would just hold on to it, Jinx, in case she tried to respond. Well, you
sure.
feel that stone like in your pocket or wherever you're keeping it. You're feeling it starting to kind of warm up, almost vibrate a little bit, as if somebody's trying to contact through it. And you reach down and you kind of touch it, and as you do, you hear the voice of Diraxia, her lover, come through, and she says, "I couldn't get away right away. You haven't sent any other messages. Ethereal, are you okay?"
Yeah,
You don't have to respond, but that's like
no.
you touch
It's
the
like,
stone
yeah, I'm
and that
fine.
you touch the stone and that happens. There's all this chaos going on above you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I put it back in my pocket. I'll answer her page later.
okay, sure.
She can wait.
Give her my last will and testament.
um, uh, okay. What are you gonna what are you guys gonna do down there? Just wait out the storm?
We're actually looking for an exit because it's a rock formation, so there's a very decent chance that we could find another way out.
Let me see what
With any luck.
let me see what I got here.
Or you go into the real area of the temple and find the boss.
Hey man, we brought him down to 14 hit points.
I don't think. I think I mean someone higher than him.
Well, you start to explore the chasm below, and you do find that it splits off into the west and continues on in that direction. It kind of zigzags through a 10-foot wide little gap, um, and the west end of the chasm widens out again. Um, it's like a broken jumble of stone down here. The walls are steep and slanting up to the ceiling above. And thus far, I guess that's all you'd be able to discover. Like while
Okay.
we're sort of in initiative still.
Yeah.
Should we be?
Things are just scrambling around. There's chaos. The hobgoblins, the Durgar, now cultists and Earthguard are coming out. Um, a couple of
Hey,
the
question for you, Ryan.
what's that?
She was down here just a moment ago trying to get the prisoners. Are they looking at her suspiciously?
Who? Helen Ray?
Well,
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
aren't down there yet. You guys are not there anymore.
True.
She's kind of waiting. She's waiting at the stairs. She can hear the chaos,
Okay.
and she's kind of stopped. Um, the gargoyles you can hear are now flapping around at the bottom of the cavern, looking for the two of you, kind of flapping chaotically, flying around. They're trying to find where the two of you have gone. They kind of soar over your heads as you're spanning through the 10-foot wide gap to the other far end of the west side of the chasm, and when they don't spot you, they kind of take back up to the air, and you see them fly up maybe 60 feet or so, and then the three of them land on a ledge, and they kind of perch there, watching the chasm below. So I think there's only one real thing left, and that is that Helen Ray does have blind sight.
Well, I'm no longer invisible anyway. I'm just a spider to her. She can't see through that.
Right. Correct. But like her temple was infiltrated 2 days in a row. She's panicking. She's kind of thinking, the only thing I'm gonna do is just make. She's gonna need to beat like a DC 18, just flat intelligence roll. With first like a DC 20 wisdom check to spot you even. So 2 hard checks, and then just out of perhaps sheer anger and impatience, sensing a little spider on the wall nearby, angrily might just try and step on it.
That's completely fair.
But it's the only thing that it's like so far away. So she rolls a 16 wisdom, and then she just doesn't. She doesn't.
Almost.
You know, you crawl just right between her legs. You can hear her teeth grinding, and all of her muscles are just tense and angry. You can see she's like sweating all down her exposed midsection, and her forehead is just beaded with sweat. And she's got her staff in her hand now, and she's just heaving big breaths angrily. As you're like crawling past her, she just cracks her staff into the side of the stone wall, and you begin to make the slow ascent up the dwarven staircase 300 feet.
Yeah.
So
I'll be on the wall. That way they don't step on me as if they try to run up.
sure.
For the steering.
I think she stands there for a little bit, and she realizes what's happened. She knows she's partly at fault, and she's lost all her prisoners. There's chaos now in the temple. Her acolytes above are being, God knows what, by by Vanifer, and she turns and she starts to make her way back up the stairs. She passes you while you're still in your spider form, Leo, and she makes her way back up towards the Sacred Stone Monastery. What are the two of you doing down in the chasm now?
I'm very seriously looking for an exit because
You guys might have trapped yourself there for a while.
I might have, and that's okay because I'll find another way out. But I mean, the Helen Ray was not what I was looking for. I did not want to fight her.
You guys would have not. You guys used a lot of shit on that boss. You could have handled another one.
And she was kind of pissed.
So
She was very angry.
I'll paint a scene here. You and Savocus, invisible down in the chasm, carefully explore its entirety. It seems like the only way out is to climb up these stone walls, and somehow attempt to escape the temple. Leo, eventually you make your way up into. Let me just check how much havoc Vanifer can wreak. Okay. You climb your way up the set of stone steps, and you crawl under the door that had been all dented in, and you see there's a big mandibled beast caged in there, and you crawl past it, up a set of stone steps into the main hall the of the temple. Uh, it's quiet and empty, but you can hear the sound of screaming, and as you get up the last step, you hear a massive explosion and like the sound of a stone wall crumbling down. You continue to crawl your way out of the main chamber of this sacred stone monastery, and you can see lining along the hallway out in the first foyer, there's a big wall of fire, and there's like charred, dead bodies laying in it. And you hear Vanifer like somewhere near more of the entrance of the temple, kind of gleefully laughing, and you hear another loud explosion, and then the wall kind of in front of you crumbles, and you see her there, and there's like another long patch of flame, and she's got these big walls of fire that are kind of rising up all around her, just illuminating still the early morning light, as maybe it's like 6 a.m. or something now, and the sun hasn't quite yet risen.
Do I see? Oh, sorry.
She's got kind of this crazed look on her face as she's just burning cultists to the ground. You see, like, out of one side of the temple, maybe a group of 6 of them emerge through a door all at once in part of the temple that she hasn't yet destroyed, and she flashes her hands out in front of her, and there's a gleaming pattern that begins to form in the sky, and they all freeze in place, kind of stunned. And she walks very casually towards them and reaches towards her belt and draws this long, jagged bladed dagger, and one by one she just runs it across the throats of these 5 or 6 cultists or monks that had been running towards her to fight. You crawl out past the temple as she's wreaking havoc on all the monks here in the Sacred Stone Monastery, up into kind of the holding place you guys had come a few times. And from the back of the temple, you see Helen Ray with a pack slung over her shoulder and her cloth wrapped around her eyes, sneak out of the garden and make her way to the edge of the stone wall of the amphitheater and start making her way up in your direction.
Oh hell no!
As you're looking down at the havoc, you can see like the minotaurs' bodies are burned and blackened, and there's a score of monks just that have been obliterated by Vanifer above, and she's still just kind of wreaking havoc, burning the top layer of the Sacred Stone Monastery to the ground.
Okay. Well, she is not getting away after all this shit.
That is where we will end our session this week.
I am 1v1ing her. I don't care.
Well played, sir. Well
played.
Hey, that was really successful.
This is for Pam and Savocus, I guess. I hope you enjoy this session when you watch it.
We did it!
That was wild.
We got you back, Patherio. We have to find some way to resurrect him, but it's fine. We got her body.